Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Sunday, April the 26th. The year's 2020. Let's talk trading. Time for the weekly open and gap. And as you know, boys and girls, fellow traders, non-binary traders, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Trading is extremely risky. You can lose all of your money. If you need trading, investment, or financial advice, seek the advice of an accredited financial professional. And even when you seek their advice, make sure that you don't lose any more on any particular trade or position than you're willing to lose. So, looking at the weekly chart here, you see we've got some gaps that haven't filled. EUR USD gapped up 11 and hasn't quite filled that gap yet. On the daily, you can see here everything's red so far. And we've got a pivot point down here that maybe the euro wants to seek out. We're putting in the range here, as you can see. This is only, the third hour of the day here. So very little range. You can see there's only about 8 pips. Here's where we are in comparison to the daily inside bar. There's the weekly inside bar low, weekly inside bar high. Lots of inside bars, though, across the daily here. So if you like those trades, you can definitely have something to look forward to. And on the weekly, you can see we also have a bunch. So inside bar traders, get ready to eat. On the range, we don't have anything even close to 100 yet. It's early in the day. You can see we started outside the or above the previous day's high. And you can see here where that gap is. We've got the pivot point, so everything's telling us to go short the euro. Not enough room in the rat zone. Range is too low. Only 8.5. There's the weekly pivot, 108.11. And the daily pivot is 107.85. Once again, showing the daily pivot and showing the weekly pivot. Just want to double check something here. Yeah, weekly pivot right there. In and out of that upper wick zone here so far today. Once again, there's really not that much happening at this time, mainly looking to position in on those gap trades. For some strange reason, I switched to the pound, but back to the euro. You can see here, if you took that wall mall trade, it actually paid off, but chances are the spread was kind of wacky. So depending on your broker, you may or may not have had success with that trade. Price action 2-ball at the top, indicating a short here at the line, which is also a wall mall line. And yeah, actually combining wall mall and using these the 3-level ZZ might give you a slight edge when you're trading. Just something to think about. One more visual confirmation. And this is a new toy, boys and girls, or a couple of new toys. TRO ranges within the hour, and then the TRO or 2020 ranges within the hour 24. So I was talking with Walmart earlier today, and I had an idea about something or observation, and I just wondered what he was thinking about it. So we kicked it around, and he said, he was saying how he likes to trade one of the first 3 M5 bars off the chart here. And you can see here on today we had a 7.2. Whereas I have a tendency, I like to trade the last 15 minutes because a lot of times price will just move like crazy the last 15 minutes of the hour. So we were thinking, we're usually trading the wall mall. Where'd it go? Usually we look at 5-minute bars, sometimes 1-minute bars here. Um, but we wanted to see here in the 5-minute, just how big these bars are and when they occur. So I had the idea to do this, and then I said, well, we could just dump the arrays and then we could go back for 24 hours. So this is just basically doing it live. Every 5 minutes, it'll paint another picture, and then you can get an idea over the day. And I'll update the indicator to put the date here and give you maybe a date input or just do current. Um, so you can actually take a look at it. And you can also do M15. You can do M30, and I'll put in something because if you do M1, it looks like that. And so there's not enough screen space to really do an M1. So that's just going to go bye-bye. And we're not really concerned. M1 candles, for the most part, aren't going to be candles that we're going to want to scalp off of anyway. And then, of course, H4, it's outside the H1 parameter because, once again, we're looking at the wall mall or buy zone by the hour trades. And so we're looking at within H1 bars only. And then, of course, we've got what we're starting to call the map here. And just seeing where price is in the map. And the shaded area is the previous day. And you just know that price probably wants to go to the next line. So you see there's not much resistance between here and here. There's nothing really going to stop price from getting there. Down here you can see there's a lot of tops and bottoms, places where price might stop and reverse. But if it clears back here, we could see a 108.64. At least that's how I look at it. And coming up this week, Walmart and I, we came up with a bunch of good topics for it. And one of the things that um, I hope some of you traders are realizing, you know, you hear me probably beat it to death, but all you need is a horizontal line to trade. Um, and trading simple, if price starts here, if it's green at the line, you go long. It starts here, it's red at the line, you go short. And price is usually going to start between these two of those lines, and you just take the trade in the direction price is moving when it reaches the line. But people go, if it was that easy, never said it's easy. It's that simple. And one of the things that makes trading really difficult is how you react to each and every tick. If it's going against you, are you cussing at the screen? If it's going for you, are you cheering at the screen? Or are you like Mickey Rourke in that cool scene in 9.5 Weeks when he's sitting at his desk? He's an arbitrage type trader. He's got this screen and he's in his three-piece suit, if I remember correctly. I think he might even have his feet up on the desk, and he's just really quiet, really calm. And the girl that he was with, what's her name? Oh, why can't I think of her name right now? Anyway, she comes in and she had brought him a hot dog for lunch. And she's just talking and talking, and he's just looking at her really calm, cool, and collected. I mean, he's just so cool in this scene. Maybe I can find it for you on YouTube. But anyway, and then she gets all flustered and runs out, and then he goes out after her. But I mean, when he was trading, he wasn't getting upset. He wasn't getting happy. He's just looking at it, pretty much no emotion. And that's kind of what we need to strive for. I was talking with Walmart, and I said, with these trades, and this is what led us to come up with that indicator. It's like when we put a trade on, how often does it go against us 10 pips versus how often does it actually hit the point that we say, because I'll say things like, oh, we got a return bar here, it's going to come down. And usually, more often than not, I'm right. In fact, you guys hear me call it out every now and then, and during the video, and then maybe within the hour or hour later, I post a chart. See, it did it. But the thing is, you know, is putting that trade on, setting that TP, setting the stop loss, the TP being take profit, and then basically forgetting about the trade, walking away, and just see if it plays out or not. But for some of us, that's really difficult because we make it difficult. Because once you put the trade on, there's really nothing you can do except exit the trade. I mean, you can't make it go up, you can't make it go down. You just basically kind of like a ship, just going with the tide. If the tide's you don't have a motor, you don't have a rudder, you know, you just have to go with the flow. You go with the current. Which way is it taking you? But that's really difficult. And I always tease with Walmart, whoever, it's like, how do they know? How do they know where, as soon as I get in to reverse it, how do they know that if I'm in a trade to take it right, just right at or right below my break even point and then reverse it again? How do they know? But it's funny because I look at it a different way. How am I so good at picking those points? I kind of take the responsibility. How am I so good at picking those points? So as soon as I enter, that they go the other way. If I enter long, it goes short. It drops. If I enter short, it rockets to the upside. How do they know? I mean, even sometimes with the spread dots indicator telling me which buying and selling. But you can see here, if you really look at this, I don't know how many of you actually use this indicator, but there's, especially on a Sunday, but a lot of times these numbers are like a pip or less than 2 pips. You only see a couple where if you got in, you timed it, with the indicator, that you would actually pick up, 2 or more pips. I mean, here it went up 6 and then or went down 6 and then it retraced 2.4. So did you take the 2 or 3 pips when it presented itself? Or if you stalled, look what happened. Or here, it went up 4. Then if you got in a trade here, then it went against you, maybe 2.1. Then it turned around and went 4.2. So, I mean, that's just how price moves. And there's nothing we can do about it. And it's really hard to accept that as a trader, there's nothing you can do. I mean, it's you pick your entry, you pick your method, you enter when you're supposed to. It's all up to the market. So, people ask about mentoring. I mean, how many different ways can I tell you to go? Look at the candle color, go here, red at the line, you go short, or look at the candle color here, it's green at the line, you go long. I mean, sometimes it pans out and sometimes it doesn't. That's trading. There's nothing else to it. It's just a matter, basically, of you finding a method that, usually does this when you hit the line as opposed to doing that when it hits the line. And that's why we use statistics. And that's why we know this is not the time of day to trade the euro dollar. It's just not. That's why I write all those statistical indicators, frequency distributions, and all that. So we can really know the price movement, price behavior of the pairs that we trade. And we can pick the best time, and we can pick a method that usually will give us a chance to take profit. So, like I said, we got some really cool ideas for videos this week. So I hope you guys tune in. And I just want you guys to remember one thing. It's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So let's go out there and drain the banks this week.